TV is a luxury, and we rural people chose to live in remote areas of this country. Our FCC, once watchdog for the public good, has now become guard dog for corporate greed. The Justice Department refuses to search out and discover obvious wrongdoing. We are not the real pirates, crooks, and thieves. They are out there in the shadows waiting to create a George Orwell society. The marketplace is not working. The decoders are not reasonably priced. The networks, PBS and AFRTS, do not have the right to scramble our public airwaves. But this issue gets bounced about like a ping pong ball. The buck keeps getting passed, and everyone has answers to everything but solutions to nothing. Well, Senators, we have found the solution. It is called Senate Bill 889. You can show us your strength and courageously demonstrate your support of our rights by moving for immediate passage of this bill. Thank you.
Protect your hardware and your software with the Microcom 300 uninterrupted power supply. It protects your computer, your data, and the other important devices you're operating when power is lost. It also gives you the ultimate in protection from lightning storms. Don't let your data go down with your computer. Buy the Microcom 300 uninterrupted power supply for only $275. Visa MasterCard is also accepted. Send check or money order to 262 Old New Brunswick Road, Piscataway, New Jersey, 08854.
Welcome back. Robert Schmidt was president of the National Cable Television Association from 1975 to 1979. Now he's the president of the Wireless Cable Association, which represents the multi-channel, multi-point distribution service industry, which, by the way, is a cable competitor. Mr. Schmidt's first priority should sound familiar to backyard dish owners. It's getting access to key programming services such as HBO, Showtime, Disney, ESPN, CNN, and others. Schmidt has gone on record as saying the cable industry has changed since he was involved in it, and he's also criticized what he calls the MSO bully boys who pressure programmers to deny access to other distributors. In addition to his non-salary job as president of the Wireless Cable Association, Schmidt owns a 4-channel MMDS system in Los Angeles. Karen has a related story on wireless cable's negotiations with HBO for program distribution, and it seems that signal theft may be an issue.
Broadcasting Magazine raised an interesting point last week regarding HBO's explanation to Senator Howard Metzenbaum on why home box office won't sell to multi-point distribution. President of HBO, Joe Collins, said it's because of security concerns.
Arrangement, we have an agreement in principle whereby our signal will be distributed over MMDS. It's been a very difficult discussion because of our concerns primarily over security. Where we're very afraid that we will have a replication of what happened in the MDS business, where our signal is widely available for nothing and stolen, and that's been very bad for our business.
Broadcasting points out that in the Office of Cable Television Signal Theft newsletter, it is written that HBO's sister company, ATC, which is the second largest cable operator, has security problems of its own. ATC reported it gives away $56 million worth of programming to unauthorized viewers each year. The newsletter reports that losses due to cable theft amount to $660 million annually, and programmers refer to that as passive theft. In an unprecedented display of audacity, the Satellite Broadcasting Communications Association announced on Monday that Boresight News was not a recognized member of the press. A spokeswoman for the organization told Boresight that the next time the SBCA speaks to reporters from that program, it will be when and if the association changes its current policies. Since this SBCA policy went into effect, 7 phone calls to the organization from Boresight went unreturned, and 1 woman hung up on a Boresight reporter.
Well, everyone's entitled to an opinion. The following is an editorial from Tom Burke, president of the USIA.
Hello, fellows. Welcome again to USIA Update. We want to spend just a few moments in talking about the congressmen and senators and the third-party programming bills we have up there, S-889 and H.R. 1885. We must continue to seek support from our representatives up there for these two bills. That's a necessary thing for us to do. Stay after that. Don't slack up. Now, on the signal theft problem, everyone asks us, what does the USIA stand on signal theft? Well, the USIA does not condone any illegal activity whatsoever. But the USIA cannot stop signal theft because we're not signal thieves. But we know someone who can stop signal theft, and they can do it in 24 hours. And that's the programmers, General Instrument, and the cable conglomerates. All they have to do is take the profit away from the signal thieves, and they go away. And they do that by getting the pricing right and giving us a competitive field to play in. An SBCA, who claims to be an industry association but represents the programmers and General Instruments, what's your stand? Why don't you do that? Do something about it. We'd like to know what your stand is. Fellows, on May the 14th and 15th, that's not far away, the National Dealer Association Summit Conference will be held in Little Rock. We already have 14 state associations committed to come. We expect 20 to 24 at the least amount of those. That's going to be 40 to 48 fellows from all over the country coming in here to form an alliance where we will come out with a master plan on legislative strategy, on zoning. We're going to set up a clearinghouse for zoning problems, a clearinghouse where any dealer in the country can communicate with that one office and get everything he needs or everything that's available for him. We want to concentrate and have a plan on dealer-supplier relationships, relationship between manufacturers, distributors, and the dealers. And of course, big emphasis is on an old-time dealer trade show. As you know, fellows, the trade shows we've been attending, the STTI and SBCA, have become very sterile, very antiseptic, very undealer-like. They've been dealer no-shows, and it gets steadily worse. No more do we find the little knickknacks and things we used to enjoy buying and all the camaraderie we found in meeting our dealers' friends there. We want to get back to that as soon as possible. We can do that with your support and with the support of all the dealers out there. If you don't belong to an association, join one. If you do, have your association call us. Let's get together, fellas, and get the job done. The more of us there are, the sooner we get it done. Thanks a lot for listening, watching. We'll see you next week.
We apologize for the technical quality of that tape. The editorial does not reflect the opinions or views of Boresight or its staff. We'll be back after these words. Stay tuned.
Yes, it does.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tom Russ from Green Sheet. I'm back from fishing, and I'm on tonight's show. We've got incredible deals tonight, special one-of-a-kind deals, but also we have this deal right here. It is a Houston Tracker 4 Super Plus system. Now, what does that entail? What is involved with this whole system? It includes the control box that you see right here. It's a brand new unit. This whole system is brand new. It also includes a UHF radio remote control. It is not infrared like your television. This is a radio-controlled remote control. It comes with a new Saginaw 18-inch ball drive with shaft bellows, factories installed. That's the boot that's on the end here. You get the boot with it. It's complete. It's brand new. You get a 1-year warranted by the manufacturer. It's 1 year, the whole system. It retailed several years ago for about $795, but we're selling it for only $295. You can call right now and order this. Now, an important selling point about this system is that it not only gives you programmable satellite position, polarity, and skew, but also allows you to change satellite channels and fine-tune the channels on virtually any satellite receiver. That's right, any satellite receiver. Even on those receivers that do not normally have remote controls, like the Drake ESR 224 and 324 receivers. All with this UHF remote control It's incredible. As I mentioned again, it is brand new, complete. They're in the boxes and everything else. $295 complete. It's a great deal. Only here on Green Sheet, which follows Boresight News next. Be here. It's going to be a good show tonight.
In an effort to improve relations between its broadcast affiliates and local cable systems, Fox Broadcasting Company will be conducting joint promotional campaigns with cable systems. Fox will be demonstrating its commitment to this policy by setting up a booth at this month's National Cable Television Association convention. This would mark the first time a major broadcasting service has made a showing at a cable convention. The Fox Cable Alliance could prove to be mutually beneficial by providing a Fox network with a delivery into a potential of 45 million cabled homes while allowing cable operators to provide more programming to their subscribers. Cable may be adopting the home dish industry's grassroots approach. Karen has the details.
Grassroots lobbying has done so well for TVRO that now cable is trying to give it a shot. In an effort to combat the return of syndicated exclusivity, United Video asked cable subscribers to send direct mail coupons into lawmakers that would oppose the loss of superstations. Now, if syndicated exclusivity is put back in, cable operators would rather drop the superstation altogether than go through the logistic problems of blacking out particular shows if local broadcasters have exclusive rights to air those shows in the operator's area. Now, some cable subscribers appear to be responding to the direct mail campaigns, and it's likely that more will be initiated at a later date. Mike?
Thanks, Karen. Chaparral and Bowman are still waiting for Judge John H. Davies to hand down a decision regarding Chaparral's lawsuit against Bowman, charging patent infringement on its Polarotor feed. A decision was expected this past Monday following a status conference on Bowman's antitrust suit against Chaparral. According to a Chaparral spokeswoman, Judge Davies' decision has been postponed to Friday, April 22nd. We'll have more at that time. Still ahead on Boresight, AgriSat's greatest hits, GI's moneymaker, and guess who's dropping out of the home dish industry? Stay tuned.
Are you tired of listening to buzzwords and not knowing what they mean? What does VSAT mean? And what is this new one, business television? Hey, you can find out. You can go to these courses. They take weeks and cost thousands of dollars. That's what we've done. Or you can save a whole bunch of money because you have a satellite dish, you're a satellite dealer, you already know many of the terms and what they mean. But maybe you don't know some of the unique ways you can make money with it. Maybe you don't know all the things that are needed from you to make the installation. How do you do the roof mounts? What is required? How do you do all the settings? What do you do when you bid for a VSAT job? And what do you do for business television? You can sell business television. There's a great opportunity out there. But more importantly, there are many people out there seeking to find installers to do VSAT installations. A few business TVs. Business television is projected to do well over 100,000 units in the next year because of the dynamic growth of that industry. Are you going to be able to address that growth? Are you going to be able to do those installations? The people want certain things from you, and you can give it to them now because there's going to be a VSAT business television seminar. Yes, and you don't have to bother even leaving your office because we're going to do it live via satellite. Yes, we told you that there's going to be opportunities to use that wire decoder other than with Yellow Rain. Well, you can, because now there are going to be 2 seminars held live via satellite in the 1st of May, allowing you to use your wire decoder. The first seminar is business television and VSAT. It's a one-day seminar. It's $189 if you do not have the wire decoder. That $189 is $100 for the course and $89 for the wire decoder. That's a 5-year lease on that decoder, folks. So for $189, you get a full one-day seminar with course book, with everything you need. And you can come in and on live via telephone and ask questions of the guests that will be there telling you what's going on with VSAT and how you can address that market and how and what you need to know about business television. It's going to be a full 10 hours. 10 hours, you can tape it, but it's going to be full of information you need to know. Now, what's the second day? The second day, well, you should ask. Well, we did. We thought about what else dealers really need to know. Well, we all know about SMATV, but do we really know? There's a lot of money in SMATV. Big marketplace right now. Are we addressing it? Well, maybe we're not addressing it because we don't know everything we need to know about it. Now you can. The second day is a SMATV course. If you just want to take it, it's $189. That includes the 5-year lease on the wire decoder. If you want both courses would be $289. But if you register now, you can save yourself a good 50 bucks. Yes, indeed, $239 if you register now. That includes the wire decoder with a full 5 years. You never have to rent it again or lease it again, and both courses with course books. Now, if you already have a wire decoder, hey, take $89 off. And if you went to the seminar back in September of '86, the VSAT seminar, take $40 more off because we never sent you that videotape. So, there you go. Go for it.
You can call it AgriSat's greatest hits. AgriSat, the Agricultural Information Satellite Television Network, is celebrating its first anniversary by airing the 24th edition of Satellite RFD this Sunday, April 17th. That show will include highlights from the past year's program, including an interview with Cy Carpenter, president of the National Farmers Union, and AgriSat's coverage of the 60th Annual Future Farmers of America Convention that took place this past November. Satellite RFD can be found on Westar 3, Channel 3. It airs on the first and third Sundays each month, beginning 7 p.m. Central. Buying the video cipher division from MACOM may have been the best thing General Instrument ever did. Karen tells us why.
General Instruments knew what they were doing when they bought the video cipher division from MACOM 2 years ago. GI reports that the video cipher is an important profit contributor. It shows. In the year ending February 29th, GI reported a net income of $66.2 million on revenues of $1.2 billion. For the same period 1 year ago, GI reported a net loss of $80.4 billion on $787.9 million in revenue. Since January of 1986, when HBO began scrambling, a reported 800,000 video cipher 2s have made it out of GI's factory. One satellite distributor estimates 30% of those units traveled south of the border to either Mexico or islands in the Caribbean. Of the total, it's been estimated that 50% have been modified. That would enable dish owners to watch satellite channels without paying. Whichever the case, illegal export or piracy, General Instruments has come under the attack for financially benefiting from illegal activity. GI has also been criticized for using its monopoly control to keep prices of the VC2 artificially high. During the Senate hearings on 889, Charlie Ergen, president of Ecosphere, could have predicted GI's announcement, calling the VC2 an important profit contributor.
But the initials GI in our industry stand for gouging instruments. The General, an article that was published in Forbes magazine just several weeks ago, has a picture of Mr. Dunham smiling, talking about the monopoly power that he has and the profits that he's making. He makes a 35% profit margin after expenses, according to this article. That is 2 or 3 times higher than the normal rate and 10 to 15 times higher than he expects his dealers and distributors to make on this product.
Dale Bumpers reported that Barry Goldwater assured him the decoder prices would dramatically decrease by the summer of 1986.
But he assured me that by the summer of 1986, decoders would be selling for $186. Now, here we are 2 years later. The same situation prevails today as it did a year ago, as it did 2 years ago. It's just more dramatic now. And we still have one firm manufacturing decoders. They sell anywhere at the retail level from $395 to $425. But the point should be made that under current circumstances, if they chose to charge $1,000 for a decoder, the consumer would have no choice but to pay it or do without programming.
Sources informed Boresight that although GI reports a little over 800,000 units sold, the actual count of VC2 boards in the field number 1.4 million. IRDs account for some of that total, but this count has not been confirmed by General Instruments. It was interpreted by engineers studying the clocking data transmitted via uplink to the VC2 boards, and it was confirmed by company executives tracking the units by counts in the video cipher series. Now, whether it's 800,000 or 1.4 million, dish owners actually subscribing to services are reported to number only 350,000.
According to Anderson Scientific President Joe Massa, his company is no longer in the business of manufacturing and marketing satellite receivers for the home TVRO market. According to Massa, the South Dakota company's board of directors made this decision because the amount of business in the TVRO market didn't justify the risk. When asked if his company would re-enter the TVRO industry if the marketplace improved, Massa said that's always a possibility, but added that he isn't the owner and the decision wouldn't be his to make. Anderson Scientific will concentrate on its commercial line of receivers, custom design projects, and its export business. All warranties and service on its home satellite equipment will stay in effect. Anderson Scientific is not the only company bailing out of the home dish market. We'll have more when Boresight returns.
Announcing a special deal on Satellite TV Preview, a complete weekly satellite TV guide. Just mail us the cover of the guide you presently receive, and we'll give you a special deal of just $36 for a full year of Satellite TV Preview. That's $10 off the regular subscription price for Satellite TV Preview, a great guide. And all you have to do is send us a cover. And we'll send you Satellite TV Preview, the most complete weekly satellite TV guide. To get this special deal, just send your present guide cover with a $36 check or money order to 262 Old New Brunswick Road, Piscataway, New Jersey, 08854. Visa MasterCard orders call 800-876-6121. Call today to save $10.
Kenwood USA, the California-based electronics manufacturer, will be phasing out its TVRO line within the next several months. When asked why, Kenwood Vice President of Sales and Marketing Dan Peterson didn't offer specifics, but he said it was a corporate decision. We decided to let go. When asked if Kenwood's venture in the TVRO market was unprofitable, Peterson alluded that it just wasn't a priority, explaining that his company only made one piece of equipment for TVRO. Ironically, Kenwood, known for its upscale car and home stereo components, received generally good reviews for its line of computer-controlled digital satellite receivers, but they never really caught on with satellite dealers or consumers. In any event, Kenwood will continue to service all of its discontinued TVRO product. It may not be long before we have to explain to our children and grandchildren that there was once such a thing as free television, and maybe the only place we'll find a UHF or VHF antenna may be in a museum. Right, Karen?
60% of home dish owners also have a rooftop antenna. That's how they get their local news, from a local off-air broadcaster. It's the old-fashioned kind of television. It's free. But there's a debate within the news media now. Some executives believe this kind of news is on its way out, and that will be news to 88 million American households. People like Don Hewitt, the creator of 60 Minutes, says what's in store for tomorrow's news is something akin to a video newspaper. Hewitt was quoted by Broadcast Magazine. The networks are nothing but an outmoded delivery system for news. Hewitt sees Turner's CNN as an example of things to come. He says tomorrow's news will be found on a cable channel. He says news services will lease space on a cable system, and they'll deliver a morning, afternoon, and evening news show for 50 cents per day. Independent Television Association Vice President of Communications Lawrence Laurent disagrees. He believes Hewitt's predictions leave out one important point. Laurent says cable is only an interim technology, somewhere in between terrestrial broadcast and home satellite. Laurent isn't concerned over what Hewitt sees in his crystal ball. In fact, he remembers when news executives said the New York Times would soon be delivered over facsimile. Laurent feels that until 88 million households are equipped with a satellite dish, terrestrial broadcast will be the primary delivery system. Others also disagree with Hewitt's prediction of a 50-cent per day cable video news. One of those is Executive Vice President of News for ABC, David Burke. He says that the networks serve an enormous function to the economy and to the advertiser. And what about the viewer? Well, pay TV is not in every family's budget. Of the 67 million homes reached by cable, only 47 million subscribe. A price tag of $180 per year for TV news means many Americans will go without. And RCA Vice President Charlie Schmidt says that will cost this country billions of dollars.
The U.S. Department of Education has estimated there are more than 27 million adult functionally illiterates in this country. It's been estimated the problems associated with functional illiteracy cost over $224 billion a year in welfare payments, crime, incompetent job performance, lost tax revenues, and remedial education. The cost in terms of human misery cannot be estimated. So truly, I think illiteracy is probably the cruelest censor of them all.
Last Sunday, in an ABC special report on drugs, Peter Jennings talked about illiteracy. In this age of information and change, the growing numbers of illiterate, uneducated, and uninformed Americans is a fascinating phenomenon. Most broadcasters and newsmen admit that they can't see into the future, but they're not threatened by cable's move into news. What threatens them most is the fact that the fate of tomorrow's news no longer rests in the hands of journalists or of the pioneer broadcasters committed to serving in the public interest. In Hewitt's crystal ball are the businessmen, more familiar with balance sheets than with news copy. The fate of tomorrow's news is not clear. The future of television? Home satellite. There are going to be a lot of changes over the next few years, changes which will seat the dish owner at the focus of the turn.
The Earth Observation Satellite Company, or EOSat, is announcing that it signed a contract with the U.S. Department of Commerce to continue with the Landsat program into the 1990s. The agreement provides for the commercial development and construction of Earth remote sensing satellite Landsat 6 and related ground systems. The $220 million contract will also fund worldwide market development for Landsat's products and the continued operation of Landsats 4 and 5. In a prepared statement, EOSat President C.P. Williams said, "This agreement assures the U.S. of continued leadership in satellite remote sensing and will provide data to benefit nations throughout the world." A few weeks ago, UTV launched on SATCOM 3R Transponder 19. Here's a repeat of a feature we did previewing UTV's format. Today, it seems everyone is health and fitness conscious. The American public is bombarded with magazine articles, TV shows, and products that promise everything from weight reduction, clearer skin, and an overall feeling of good health. Although there are several magazines devoted to health, fitness, and a holistic lifestyle, television has only explored these topics superficially by offering the occasional aerobic show or health feature during an evening newscast. Soon there will be a cable channel that will examine and promote a healthy lifestyle 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That channel is UTV. UTV was an exhibitor at the recent Atlantic Cable Show in Atlantic City. There we spoke to Louise A. Goodwin, UTV's Director of Marketing Services, who provided an outline of UTV's programming, which is broken down into 6 basic areas.
We have health programming that involves a weekly newscast of health news. We have health and fitness. We have daily living, special interest. Special interest covers Living With series. That's a 12-part series that covers living with diabetes, living with arthritis, living with cancer, how the family copes with it, how the individual copes with it, complications, how to prevent that. And then we go on to travel, leisure, sports. Each one of our programming areas speaks across the board to high demographics, but specially targeted to special people, special interests.
Although health programming may be used as a general description of UTV, it doesn't give the whole picture.
Right. I want to say we're more than health. We're more than fitness. We're appearance, leisure, lifestyle, daily living, that type of thing.
With all the hype and misinformation associated with much of the health and fitness movement, how does UTV intend to give its viewers accurate and usable information?
A board of medical people, professionals in their field. We're also affiliated with the University of Pittsburgh, who give us information, data breaks, and background to help us produce. We're also affiliated with the ADA, which is the Diabetic Association, and we have a board of programmers there who will assist us in formulating the Living with Diabetes series. This is a very technical aspect, but they will give it to us at a level not targeted to physicians, but rather to the individual at home who needs more current, up-to-date information on how to live with it, treat it.
According to Goodwin, the decision to launch UTV was not only based on market research and tracking popular trends.
Primarily, our chief executive officer, who is Jerry Lehman, headquartered in Pittsburgh, has been in the pharmaceutical field for many years. He has an interest in this particular type of programming. He himself has been struck by diabetes. He feels there is a need for more information along this line, and diabetes may have been the starting point, but it will go on to other areas of medical interest.
UTV is not a half-baked idea. It is the product of painstaking preparation, and like a Hollywood epic, can boast that it was years in the making.
We've been 2 years in the production, doing the foundation, setting up the groundwork, putting all the programs in the cans. Every time we do a show, we bring the crew out from California or Pittsburgh. We do shoots. We have stars who come with us, do a segment, we put it in the can, and we're ready to go.
UTV may be ready to go, but is it here to stay? Is America's interest in health and fitness a trend that will eventually go the way of the hula hoop and the Nehru jacket?
I think it's really become a way of life. It's more than just a lifestyle or a fad. I think it's going to go on.
Although UTV is not on the air yet, the initial interest is said to be tremendous. Cable operators aren't the only ones who want to know when UTV will be available.
Subscribers call and say, "Where are you? We want you. We need you." So we say, call your cable operator. We'll be launching March, and then we'll get to be able to help you at that time.
The tentative launch date for UTV is March 31st, 1988. The 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week service initially will be offered unscrambled, but the satellite and transponder have not yet been confirmed at this time. If you want more information, call UTV's parent company, Health Television Corporation, at area code 412-261-1411. As we mentioned before, UTV can be seen on SATCOM 3R, transponder 19. It's up there so cable affiliates can see the show and hopefully carry it. We don't know how successful they will be, but in the meantime, you can enjoy some new programming. I'm Mike Ventriello. I'll see you next week. Karen's going to be here to close up the show. Good night.
Thanks for watching us tonight. This is Boresight News. We're on every Thursday night. Cross our fingers. 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Westar 5, transponder 1. Before you tune this out and tune in Green Sheet, which comes up next, I'd like to tell you that the reason why we're on the air, there's two reasons. One, there's information and stories that we can present to you, and also because you're out there and you're tuning in to us, and we want that to continue. So call us up, drop us a line, let us know what it is you want us to investigate, what you want us to report on. We need your feedback, and we really appreciate it. So we'd be happy to respond to your letters. Please send them in. Also, before we go, you know, thank goodness we're a strong bunch of people here, not just here on Boresight, but in the home dish industry, because if we weren't, God knows we wouldn't be surviving. Boresight is having a little bit of a problem now because certain sources won't provide us with information. The SPCA, for one, has decided that Boresight is not a news source, even though it's been on the air since October of 1984, faithfully every week, bringing the home dish owner and the dealer news. Also, there are some corporations that won't respond to phone calls. Some reporters get hung up on. That makes it a little tough for us to give you both sides to a story, and that's what we want to do. We want to give you reports, news, and information, and that's what we're here for. So if you hear from time to time that comments were not available or phone calls were not returned, it's not any lack on our part to do our best job. We're trying, but it's a little difficult when we don't have the cooperation, and we don't. But we're working at it, and hopefully, as time goes on, we'll be thought of again as a credible news agency, because that's what we are. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next week. Same transponder, same time, and coming up Green Sheet and other programming.
Well, some of you have asked us what is happening with our lawsuit, or our case against that has been brought against us by GI and HBO and the rest. Truthfully, nothing. The judge has not made any ruling. And what is he ruling on? He's ruling on whether or not the bag of parts which we were selling is in violation of 705, whether the dealer demo chip we were selling is in violation of copyright, and whether or not there was conspiracy between Bob Cooper and I to hold the summit. That's what he's ruling on. And you want to know something. This is a civil action, not a criminal action, not brought by the federal government or any other state agency. Yet Bob and I have suffered an incredible amount of ridicule from our leaders and from the spokespeople in our industry. I find that somewhat ironic, considering it is a civil action, and when you look closely at the evidence and look closely at what we're condemned of doing, it doesn't nearly compare to what others have done or are accused of doing. Yet they don't seem to be taking nearly the abuse that we do. Such is life. That's the way this industry is. They abuse us because they're afraid of the power we enjoy. I guess Bob doesn't have much of that anymore, but certainly he did. Maybe one day he'll come back and reclaim it. But whatever happens, happens. The truth is that there's a great deal of injustice that goes on around in this industry and truthfully in this country. Think about it. The government is spending thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to stop us from watching movies, while crack dealers around the country are infiltrating our high schools, our grade schools, killing people. And that's indeed a violation of customs, because these people, as I understand it, are mostly foreigners. Why aren't the customs people worrying about this instead of people like Charlie Ergen, who probably is just being brought down by a couple of bad employees? Well, whatever happens, happens. Stay tuned for Yellow Rain. Thanks for watching. Well, there's a lot of things going on out there. GI is trying its damnedest to live by its commitment to shut all you pirates down by May 15th. HBO has kind of like said, you guys shut them down, we might be taking you to court. So you're going to see a lot of activity out there. I suspect that's one of the reasons there's been this great rush to the wizard, the key wizard that we've been telling you about, also known as the doomsday chip, because they can't shut that chip down. A lot of countermeasures going on. As I understand it, it's affected very few of you. In truth, if the programmers would like some real insight into this industry and the truth about what GI has and has not shut down, you programmers might demand a look at GI's records of boxes they've gotten back, or better yet, talk to some pirates to see how many boxes they have actually lost in the field. It's less than hundreds. Not hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands as proclaimed by North America One, but you really can't believe that. That's a propaganda sheet. We're not here. We tell you the truth. I guess that's why so many of you watch us. There's a lot of things going on. And certainly if you are leaving your video cipher on a channel that you are not authorized to watch, The probability is you might be having a bit of trouble. If you do not have a stock U30 in your video cipher today, you may indeed have trouble because GI has implemented that system of turning you on for channels you're not authorized for and turning you off the channels that you are authorized for, turning you off that channel. And then after you don't call back in a couple of weeks saying you've lost the channel you're authorized for, but you're getting channels you weren't authorized for, then GI is shutting your box off, figuring you have a Three Musketeers in it. Want to keep that in mind. It's one of their great defenses of late. They've also come up with a couple other new twists, which we'll get into next week because I don't quite understand them yet. Let me just say this. There's a piece of tape that's going to run right now for CTS. It's a 5-minute tape explaining key extraction. Remember, key extraction is totally legal. Your dealer should have that equipment in your possession so that you can archive your customers' keys, particularly in light of these new countermeasures that are being done by GI. Remember, they do indeed turn off legal boxes all day long, and you're stuck with repairing them and sending them back to GI. Just prepare yourself to service these boxes, and certainly key pullers will help you do that. You can, in our opinion, and most lawyers' opinion, clone boxes that are in the same household.